if I'm an average, like let's say I'm an average American citizen, right? Like how do I engage with your product? Like what's the kind of model that you have set up? What does the product do? How do I like purchase this device?
Figure out a way to homeschool them. The education system here in the United States, what they're exposed to, it's insane. We have a device that literally blocks all this radiation that we're literally exposed to right here.
Yeah.
Literally blocks that. Actually, right now you're having a radiation-free experience. I have it in my bag.
Oh.
So Bill Gates has 16 of them.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Caravan Podcast. Today we're joined with Rheem Hammouda, my best friend's wife, mother.
Mother.
So yeah. Thank you for joining the podcast. Where are you visiting from? Because I can't keep track. Chicago or Dubai?
So I'm still based in Dubai.
Okay.
Parents have gotten older.
Yeah.
They need a lot more care, TLC. So I spend 50% of my time in Chicago and 50% of my time in Dubai.
Oh my goodness. Well, I know there's a direct flight now officially from Dallas, Texas to Dubai.
I may use that in the future,
So-
but I came in from Chicago.
Yeah. Well, welcome to Texas and welcome to Dallas. We're glad that you're able to make it, and then of course have this conversation. So you're an entrepreneur, you're an investor. You've had a very interesting career. Can you walk us through kind of like the main like chapters in your life right now?
For sure. So I was raised in Chicago, spent most of my summers in Egypt, and I graduated from university. I said, you know what? I'm not ready to work. I'm going to hang out in Egypt for a little longer. And that's actually where I found myself. Everyone was going back to school. Everyone was going back to work. Summer was over. I had to find a job. So my first job was in Egypt. I worked for Procter & Gamble. And that sort of made me realize what the corporate world was about. I met my now ex-husband at P&G. Spent a lot of time in Saudi Arabia and Egypt and Dubai, and found myself coming back to the U.S. Unfortunately, like I mentioned, I got divorced, and I had to get back into the workforce. I had actually been a stay-at-home mom after getting married for almost, let's say, 8 to 9 years.
Wow.
And for me, that was honestly the best job ever. I really invested in my son, Ahmed. We had the best time. We traveled. We did all kinds of things. And when I had to go back to work or find a way to get back into the workplace, I wasn't terribly excited about it. And I went and got my master's, got my job with IBM, was with them for 15 years, and then COVID hit. And I was like, wait a second, am I going to really sit behind this laptop? I used to love the travel aspect, the client-facing aspect, the consulting, solving problems, and it became very tedious. It wasn't interesting anymore. I wanted to spend that last year with IBM and figure out what my next move was, but it just didn't happen. It didn't materialize. So I just said, you know what, give me an exit package. Your guys are firing people left, right, and center. I want to package out. And I was blessed, and they did give me one, and I left, and I was like, okay, what do I do now? I was living in Dubai at the time, and I said, you know what, I think I'm going to travel the world. So I started to pick up, I went to Kyrgyzstan for the first time. I fell upon a group of people that had this amazing formula. They would leave on a Thursday night, which was in the Middle East, the end of the week, and be back at work by Monday. So we would literally climb a volcano in the Congo, right? Yeah. Sit in a tent, spend the night, have an amazing time with some tribe, really feel the, immerse ourselves in the local vibe, and then find ourselves back in our offices on Monday morning. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
It was incredible. I did Eritrea, Ethiopia. I mean, literally was blown away. It was a new kind of travel. I mean, prior to that, it was like hop off bosses in Italy or France. And this just opened my eyes to the world in a way that I had never seen before. When people ask me, why do you travel so much? I honestly do, because it's amazing how God created the human being. What we think success is varies from country to country, tribes, and the fact that we could have modern cities and yet people still, doing things that people did hundreds of years ago. So anyways, traveled, and then I found myself physically challenged. Body was aching, situation was getting a bit dire, and I had to get some medical attention. And that's where I was introduced to the water, the business that I've started. And it was a game changer for me. And I experienced such improvement in my health to the point where I was like, okay, I need to share this with everyone. I shared it with my parents. I saw amazing results with them. I shared it with Ahmed on a business trip. We met up in Taiwan, and Ahmed was just like, oh my God, Mom, you're scammed by anything. How could you have bought into this? And I was like, listen, we're going to be buying bottled water anyway while we're here, right? So why don't you just try the water? I brought the water with me. And within 2 days, he's like, I want the device. I'm like, are you for real? Because I'm really a bit shocked. And he's like, no. I usually drink coffee every single morning just to get myself started. And I really genuinely don't need it. I'll continue to drink coffee because I enjoy it. But I genuinely don't need it. I mean, he started working out on the trip. I was like, never, ever did he ever work out on
Is that something that he doesn't do?
Well, it's a really funny story. The first time Ahmed worked out with me back at UT Austin.
Okay.
And I'm more, I guess, intense now in my workout than I was back then. He threw up.
Oh,
In our first time working
he
out
was
together.
the one.
Yeah. And so when I stayed with him for about a month in San Francisco when he was
Okay.
building out Sawa, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And Ahmed is very regiment. Like, mashallah, he is very good at that. And like, dinner and lunch was the same thing, which is like this big pot, and it's like lentils, beans.
he calls it the 20
bean
bean
recipe.
soup.
I mean, your fiber content you're getting
Yeah.
in one meal for the whole month. Like,
Yeah.
it is incredible. And then in the back, was in San Francisco, there's a place, it was the bathroom, and that's where you would get the water. And I'm like, yo, I need a glass of water. When I first came in, I was like, oh, it's in the bathroom. I'm like, what? Okay. I go up there, and then it's like this device, and it has like a pipe. And he's like, yeah, it's like, he's naming, I don't watch soccer, but he was naming like other famous athletes that use it.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
He
a big
drinks the
one.
water.
That's a really big one.
Tom
yeah.
Brady.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, I just need hydration. And, I just filled a cup up. I'm like, dang, this is good water. And
really
like,
is.
because like I'm in the bathroom, I'm immediately thinking it's gonna be like even, dirtier than normal water. And then it's like cleaner than I would ever expect. And so, but yes, that was my first time when I had it.
Yeah.
And, he really loves it. Cause even when I visit him in New York, he still has it, at his place. But I kind of want to take a step back because I think within our culture, within our like just the Muslim identity, I think there's a lot of places where we all have certain places that we're kind of forced to fit into, right? You mentioned that you're a homemaker, you were kind of focusing on motherhood, right?
Right.
And really enjoying that. What during that time when you're going through the separation and finding your new identity or going back to your previous identity, which is working what was that transition like? Well, because you're still a mom, right? That's still a full-time job, and the adjustment there. Like, can you walk us through what you were thinking? What helped you get through that?
I'll be honest with you. I always thought of myself as the good girl. Like, I did everything right. So when I got divorced, I was kind of blown. Like, how could something like that happen to me? I was the perfect mom. Hopefully, I was doing my best as a wife. So when it happened, it was one of those things where you want to be successful in everything you do, right? So overcoming the fact that getting divorced does not mean I wasn't successful, right? It was the fact that a person like me, with all of my attributes and skills and love for family, etc., this could happen to me and I can still survive. There's something to be learned from this situation, right? So Ahmed really, I really give him credit for. He didn't do anything specific, but his existence in my life gave me that ability to transition. When you have to devote yourself to somebody else's success, you sort of forget your own victim situation, right? You don't have time to sort of woe and be sorrowful. No, I have to just keep going because he needs to survive this. He needs to grow up and have as healthy a life as possible. So that is really what got me through. I think one of the mantras I had in my head was, I wanted him to have the same lifestyle. I didn't want it to feel like something had been sacrificed or denied him or taken away. So when you think of me going from being a stay-at-home mom, and honestly, I was living a very lavish life. I mean, I was living between Saudi Arabia, Dubai, and Fort Lauderdale, right? Homes were beautiful. Places that I was living in was beautiful. So just the idea that I had to keep up with that on my own.
Yeah.
And I had been out of work for almost 10 years at that point, was daunting. I found a master's program without having to go through like the SAT, not but the GRE,
GRE,
and I didn't want to go through all
that,
and all that kind of thing. I was able to do it based on work experience. And that just transitioned me into a group of people that were very welcoming. It gave me that confidence that I could still achieve. I graduated from that program as the highest GPA, so the valedictorian. And I was the eldest person in that program. So it was like bits of building blocks that sort of helped me navigate. And then when I got the job with IBM, I mean, to be honest with you, everybody knows what IBM is about. But it was kind of funny that if anyone asked me, where do you work? I'd be like, IBM. Ooh, IBM? And I'm like, really? Is it that impressive? And people were just constantly impressed, which only added to the confidence.
Right.
Right.
And what year was that when you got your job at IBM?
What year was that? So I graduated. It would have been 2005.
Okay, so this is so like IBM's like really. Cause I started my career at IBM as
Yeah.
well. So Big Blue.
Yeah, exactly. Not looking ever back.
Yeah.
I was about to say.
Not at all. I do not miss it at all.
Alhamdulillah. And I'll leave it at
Alhamdulillah,
that.
no,
Well, I was gonna say, I think there's such a unique aspect to having sort of like this feeling of having your back against the wall. Like there's just something that comes out. It's like this fight or flight response
100%.
of having to, hey, if I don't get this done, I don't know who's gonna come save me.
Right.
No one is. I gotta do it.
You.
Like going back home, back to my bedroom with my parents, never was an idea for me.
And then yours is even like, oh, I have to like maintain this level of living and by myself. So now I
Right.
gotta like 10x, 20x, whatever, right?
Right.
That feeling is like very, very difficult to kind of synthesize. So for me, like I had my father. He passed away when he was 50. And so very young, unexpected, and I was 21. And I remember feeling the same like,
Pressure.
oh, I gotta like make sure my mom's okay, my younger brother, my younger sister. That weight, that gravity of weight of just like our backs against the wall, we have to do something. How did you like manage that stress? And was it like the vehicle of like was that even stressful for you, or was it just like the moments that you had with your son that you were like, hey, well, we'll get through this? Like, how did you maintain that consistently throughout the journey?
Was two bits that was happening. One, I never really knew anybody that had gotten divorced prior to that. Like I had no one to go to. I remember when I was trying to find a lawyer to help me through the process, there was no one. I went to the courthouse and I sat in like proceedings and saw who was good and who wasn't, because I had no one to ask. So that was one kind of daunting situation. When it came to like raising my son, I really didn't talk about it much with Ahmed. I mean, honestly, it wasn't until the divorce happened. He had no idea what was happening. He was only 6 years old. And it was really about making sure he could still do his sports, making sure that he was becoming independent in managing his studies. It just gave me a sense of purpose and identity and being able to continue that. One thing I would say that I remember very distinctly, like appreciating, the role of the man in the relationship. I mean, I think as women, it's not so much we take it for granted, but we don't understand how much pressure the man is under to provide for a family. It was when I had to do both is when I really got, well, now I understand why there are two people in this relationship. Now I understand why a woman shouldn't be weighed down by that, because it takes away from the ability to nurture and to, take care of an usra, a family in that way. If she had also the pressure of what the man had in terms of providing, that nurturing flavor would just be depleted. So no, I really appreciated it at that moment, what you must have been going through at that point. Having said that, I don't know how to explain it, but there was barakah. There genuinely was barakah.
Subhanallah.
Like when I think about my last year at IBM when I left, I honestly never felt like I budgeted. or I sacrificed doing anything I wanted to do in life. But subhanAllah, when I decided that I couldn't do this anymore and I looked at my bank account, I'm like, how did I save all that money? How do I have all of that? Did I eat? I couldn't have eaten to have saved that much.
Let me check the corporate card one more time.
So there was barakah all. I mean, even when I when I got divorced, my first job out wasn't IBM.
Yeah.
I worked for Workforce One, which is like a government agency that does the welfare programs, and I did that in the interim until I finished my master's. I was making $22,000 a year. I mean, trying to keep up a lifestyle that was on a $250,000 a year income, right? And nobody felt like anything was denied.
SubhanAllah.
There's barakah.
Incredible.
I mean, this reminds me of a story, and I'm going to butcher it. But basically, it's like there's like this story, and maybe if you know it better, you can articulate it a little, again. But there's like the story of like someone who's like... yeah, I'm going to butcher it, so I'm not going to try.
What is it?
Okay, so I'll say it, and then we can get kind of edit it. But like basically, the story is something along the lines of like someone has a limited amount of supply of something.
Okay.
And basically, like what's ends up happening is they end up starting to calculate how long it's going to last them. And then the moment that they start to calculate, that's when it becomes like quote unquote like a sense of reality, and then it gets depleted. So like what the statement was, or what the takeaway was, like had not started to calculate, you would have had enough to last you for a lifetime's worth.
Well, this goes into like a story of the Sahaba, right? I think it was before the Battle of the Trenches, and they were needing to feed the army, and there's no food, and one of the Sahabi comes to the Prophet Sallallahu, and he's like, we have a goat left, right, and another goat for milk, but we just want to treat you. We just want to, just the Prophet's, that's it. And so Prophet Sallallahu was like, okay, that's fine. And then he tells like, well, can I invite like a few people? And the Sahabi's like, yeah, sure. I'm forgetting the Sahabi's name, but he goes back, preps the food and everything like that, right? And then Prophet Sallallahu is coming, and behind him is the entire ummah. The entire ummah is behind him, right? I don't know, have you guys heard this story?
No.
And so subhanAllah, it's, and what the Prophet was like, okay, where's the food? I'll serve the people. I will be the only one that's serving. Okay. Everyone ate 2, 3, 4 times over.
Wow.
But the barakah stopped because the Prophet said, everyone keep going for it, but no one look in this bowl. No one look. And one person ended up looking, and that's when it became finite. And this reminds me every time. This story reminded me, I was at my friend's wedding, and it was a buffet style wedding. And there's so much food. There's so much food, and like it makes me think so much about like our brothers and sisters in Gaza and Palestine and in the Congo and Sudan, where food is so limited. But when we see this abundance, we tend to take more and more.
In fear that it'll just
because it'll go away. I won't get enough.
Yeah.
I won't get enough. There's not enough left. What do you mean there's not enough left? There's a sea of food. Right? And then there's so much waste that comes from it. And so I think that's this idea, is that when you're looking at your bank account, you're thinking that your risk is actually not coming from Allah anymore. Right? There's a balance of having awareness of how much you're spending. Yeah. Yes, right? But when you're looking at it and you're fearing it, like that fear comes in, what's that's going to impact is how you feel about money, where you think your money's coming from, how you're going to feel about donating and all these other elements, because now you're thinking that money is yours, it's Allah's. It's always been Allah's. Right? He's just lending it to you out of his grace.
And you're a temporary custodian.
Exactly, right?
Of how to manage that. I mean, this entire conversation reminds me of this amazing book by Muhammad Faris called The Barakah Culture. And it's a really good book. I kid you not, I was in tears multiple times reading this.
MashaAllah.
And the premise of it is, and I'm not going to do it justice, but like the premise of this book is that to do more with less. And so like the story that he gives is like there's a person that's sitting underneath a tree, and there's 2 merchants that are walking past, and they offer this person They're like, hey, look, do you want $1,000 worth of coins or whatever the denomination was? And like, hey, do you want this? And then the guy underneath the tree says, is there barakah in this? And they say no. So then they move on with their day. And then they come back the next day. They're like, okay, we have $500 worth of coins. Do you want this? Is there barakah? No. Keeps going until they get to a point where they come back and they go, we have $2 worth of coins. Is there barakah in it? They say yes. He takes it. He's like, thank you. Then I'll accept it, inshallah. Thank you so much. Goes to the fish market. He ends up buying a fish that ends up having like a gold pearl in it. That's worth way more than original 1,000. And so like, and there's barakah in those $2. And so like, sometimes in especially our Western minds, like our commercial focused,
capitalistic,
right.
Yeah.
Like we're like, it does not make logical sense to reject the $1,000.
No,
right?
like what a fool.
Yeah.
Because 1,000 is like, but same way that it sometimes doesn't make sense to reject a gambling deal or an alcohol deal. That's like, oh, that's a lot of money. But like the barakah is like
Huge.
right?
We don't value that component.
Yeah,
too,
and so like sometimes from a logical standpoint, $1,000 is more, but you're negating the spiritual impact that this can have, and negating the fact that we believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the source of everything. And I think one thing that you always tell me that is very insightful. Dang, I forgot it.
Well, hope it comes back. It's so insightful. It's too in. It's gone. It's too inward.
Anyways, Allah khair, but I think like
Yeah.
in general, the premise is like that you really, really have to value the things that you have and then be content with it. And inshallah, you can do a lot more with a lot less.
I totally agree. Right now, I'm actually on a kick. For the last 9 months, I have not purchased a shoe, a piece of clothing, a purse, nothing. And I cannot tell you how much I value what I have.
SubhanAllah.
The pressure of finding a place for that new item that you bought no longer is a pressure. You know, this weight when you're like, oh my God, I haven't even worn half of what's in my closet. Alhamdulillah is gone. I hope I can stay on this for as long as possible.
Inshallah.
But no, there is something to this. I mean, I think we get sucked into this idea of success is having more. It's not necessarily the case. There is really, honestly, no barakah in that. Asraf.
So you're kind of making this transition now of exiting IBM and taking this bold step, right? And so what kind of gave you this confidence of independence, right? Like when I speak to you, I'm like, dang, like I really want my mom to become best friends with you, right?
Yeah.
Like my mom's a
Anytime.
widow, right? And so
Anytime.
it's like you're like I saw your Instagram and I'm like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Like I was like, I can only make dua and dua that my mom.
You know
does
how many
this.
times I get told my mom would never do
I know.
what you're doing.
But you're very proudly and visibly very Muslim.
Yes.
You know, alhamdulillah.
Yes.
And
Alhamdulillah.
and you're doing it with a smile. And I
Yeah.
think it's empowering to me as a young guy, even
Oh, I'm so
witnessing
happy
that,
to hear
right?
that. Yeah.
And so I say young generously out here. And so, but like that is not the norm. That is not the norm of the character profile that you are and that many like you share, right? What inspired you to have that courage to do this and to be unapologetically yourself and being Muslim at the same time?
I wish I could tell you there was a lot of thought to it. It's just who I am.
Yeah.
You know, it's just instinctively.
I'm just
Allah's made me this way.
I wish there was more to it.
And that's a wrap, folks.
I honestly don't. I mean, you know, even when I was with IBM for almost 15 years, 8 of which were in the U.S. and then 7 were in Dubai or the Middle East, people would ask me, so how do they treat you, you know, with the hijab? And I'm like, regularly. And I think the way I describe or I explain how I'm able to get through that level of confidence and that connection with people and just being myself, I smile. When I can smile at you and you smile back, I think very quickly people forget the hijab and they start to connect with the individual. I remember back when September 11th happened, I literally had just put on my hijab not even less than 6 months. Okay. And so many told me, Rheem, fatwa, you could take it off. Now you have to go back to, I had also got divorced like in that time as well. So they were like, well, how are you going to get a job? I mean, you're going to have to take it off. And I'm just like, you know what? Allah is the one who's going to bless me with the job. Yeah. Why would I question or even assume that the best job for me is without the hijab? I'm doing this for him. You will find a way. Well, alhamdulillah, IBM came, and honestly, I really was never discriminated against. I really, really wasn't. When I went to the Middle East, yes, there was some discrimination, and I think it's because of the insecurity and the inferiority that we have. We have this fascination with the Western world, and we have to look a certain way in order for it to somehow seem successful. But I navigated through it. I mean, there was ignorance, but you sometimes people will be like, did you see how the way they talk to you, Rheem? And I'm just like, you know what? What would go through my mind? They're just having a bad day. Yeah. I would never take it as if like, oh, it's because I'm Muslim. It's because I'm hijab. Because that all that does is make me feel unforgiving to those that are around me. I lack empathy. I'm suddenly the victim all the time. No. I never took that path. It never appealed to me.
So I think a lot of the things that you're describing in your actions, right, whether it be intentional or not, the frame of mind is like you're living with the sunnah, right? Like smiling all the time, giving 70 plus excuses to your brothers and sisters who may be feeling a certain way just because, we were talking about this with another brother, but like, in somewhere or format, we all have like a colonialist mindset that's been ingrained into us, right? And so the people that we may interact with overseas, they may see the West as this golden light when you've been living here and that's like it's not actually not sometimes always the truth, right?
Very true.
What kind of when you were younger, like growing up, where you're because you're quite the traveler and you're hiking, you're doing all these things, did your parents instill that in you, or was that a post stage when you're kind of going back into the workforce in this current era that you discover that, or was that something in your family from when you were younger as a child that was present too?
So I always laugh about the fact that I went to 4 high schools in 3 years. Okay.
How many fights did you get into?
In different countries.
Yeah.
So I was in London, and then my dad got moved to Holland, and then I went back to the States. And then I went to so it was 4 high schools in 3 years. So the idea, I was never that child that stayed in one place and had those friends although we did have a community, a very strong community in Naperville, Illinois, or Chicagoland area. But having said that, I think I just got used to not having to be in the same place. It was really hard that first move to London. I remember crying, like Dad found me in the middle of the night, like in the dark. What's wrong, Rheem? I'm like, I miss my friends. I miss my life. But when I went back, it forever changed me. It forever changed me. So the world became my backyard. I remember once the divorce happened, it was like, Ahmed, let's go. Let's get packing. And we were literally off pretty much every vacation. I'll never forget when he had graduated. I think it was his first or second year, and he was in Tejas, and we were in Spain. I told him we're going to meet up in Spain. You come from Austin, I'll come from wherever I am. And I remember walking, in the streets of Madrid, and he's just like, do I always have to travel with you? And I'm thinking, like, I am literally taking you around the world. Are you kidding me? He's like, no, I want to travel with my friends. And I'm like, khalas, okay, you go travel with your friends.
You know what? I pressed him on that. I was like, dude, your mom is so cool. You're just flying out to Taiwan. Like, what are you do not complain to me, man.
Yeah, no,
I paid for my mom to go to Bangladesh.
Imagine. I had to slow down. He's like, not every vacation.
It sounds like he doesn't know what he has.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine? He has no competition. There is no other brother and sister. I have only him.
So I have a question.
Monopolies. I'm highly against it.
You said something that was interesting. You traveled a lot, even in your upbringing as a childhood,
right.
and so like I'm really, so I have a daughter, alhamdulillah, and we have another one coming, inshallah. So a lot of the things we're thinking about is like, I kind of like that lifestyle to like travel a lot, and we'll kind of think about homeschooling a little bit. It's like a concept.
I highly recommend it.
So I was kind of curious, like, what do you like? Do you have any insights about that? Like, do you think that is a reasonable approach to education? Do you think that there was like something that was unlocked, especially more so that you were in different locations and sites, right? Because like people that I talk to, sometimes they're like, hey, sometimes it's good to have like a set community and grow, and there's like an aspect of like playing basketball with the person that you're going to school with.
No,
But-
there's value in that for sure.
but to me, I'm like, dude, the experiences of like the world, like you can experience a culture and like how much you pull in. So I'm kind of curious, like how was that?
So I would say the level of travel that I do now, definitely the seed was planted when I was younger, but my family has never done the level that I'm at now. Okay. I mean, they've never gone to the deserts of Ethiopia and in a tent and spend a week with the tribes, right? And they look at me like, are you nuts? I love it. But having said that, you know, I say two things. One, when I look back at Ahmed's life, I can see that his life, you know, his identity, who he is, he's different because of the experiences that he's had traveling the world. So there is definitely value there. One of the things that happened when I was younger, when we lived in London and in Holland, which is different from like living in Naperville, a bus would pick me up from the corner, take me to school, bring me back. I was a latchkey kid, right? When I was in London, it was like I never forget my first day of school. I'm thinking my parents are going to drive me they sent me to a British school. So I got that experience as well. They didn't even send me to the international school or the American school. So they wanted me to have that exposure. And I was like, okay, Dad, I'm ready to go to school. Are you going to drive us? He's like, oh, no, you're going to figure out how to get on the subway. Whether you take a bus, you take a train, you take the underground, you figure it out. And I'm like, huh? I think I was only 13 when that happened. And that gives you independence. That took me on to Holland. I had that confidence that I could manage. So that just led to, you know, how I grew up, how I thought. There was no boundaries. I wouldn't say that I always had like a net. It's not like I always ran to mama and baba. They actually depended a lot more on me to solve problems for my siblings and things of that nature. But I think it's just maybe being the eldest child as well. When it comes to homeschooling, I was just having a conversation with some ladies who have children that are growing up. Highly recommend at this day and age. Figure out a way to homeschool them. The education system here in the United States, what they're exposed to, it's insane. It's insane. It's very sad. It's scary. I don't know how a parent could control what the child would be influenced by if they went to public school or even private school for that matter.
Yeah. I think about home education and homeschooling from two lenses. One is like obviously the content they consume and things along those lines. That's one aspect I think a lot of people will understand naturally. But the second is I think that education in general is becoming less and less, like educational institutions are becoming less and less important, especially with the day and age of like AI and some of these other technologies that are coming into play. Like I think there will always be a value to like core educational, like math and sciences basics.
Yeah, 100%.
For sure. But like, I think once you go beyond that, like it's more about critical thinking and it's more about like, can you think outside the box versus like this education system that's only been around for 100, 150 years, right? Which is very centered around pushing people back into the economy to work a job versus like think
Innovate
outside,
and
and kind of
figure out what you really want to genuinely do versus being boxed into some sort of.
Yeah, I mean it's evident to me that the upbringing that you had has a significant influence on the confidence level that you've had throughout all the journey, that all the different experiences that you have, and it sounds like to me it's the same thing that your son exhibits as well. So I'm convinced. No, but in terms of like so you've done so much like work and you've kind of established your career at IBM, and now you're kind of on your way to exiting that. You kind of at this point, pandemic's happening, COVID's there. What was kind of in that time period? What was happening? Is this when your entrepreneurial journey is starting? What's kind of going on into that side, that time frame in your life?
It's funny because when you were trying to figure out what your next move is, and it's been inspiring listening to the people here at the summit that we're attending, the Thrive, those that worked at Wall Street or Morgan Stanley and had, you know, huge careers, making tons of money, and then leaving that all behind to figure out some way to have an impact on society in a positive way. I went through that 1 year of evaluating. I had a life coach and I was discussing. I think I was overthinking it, to be honest with you. I think it was like, what are those criteria that I want to have in place that will give me whatever it is that I need in order for me to make that next move, that next transition. But, you know, we're human. It's like, I want to make a lot of money. I don't want to work hard. I don't want it to be hard. I don't want to be exhausted. And at the same time, I want to have not just a significant, a real impact on society. Like, you know, I could really say Allah is like, you're doing good on that earth. Yeah, you got this right? Finding that is not easy, because philanthropic doesn't necessarily mean a lot of money. And philanthropic doesn't necessarily mean easy, right? Because you sometimes are starting things from scratch. Or you're going to be met with a ton of resistance. And I was really at an age where it's like, I had already raised my child. I had put in 15 years into a career that, you know, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a techie, so it was always a struggle working for IBM, but it afforded me such a lifestyle and such an experience. So it's funny, it fell in my lap. It was because of the health conditions and the situation, I fell upon this water and other holistic tools. And I was so passionate about what it did for me. And it connected to one of our core values, was sadaqah jariyah. Like when we think about what can sadaqah jariyah be, one of the number one is water. And I've been through Africa, I've been through Middle East, I've been to places where that resource is either depleted, abused, non-existent. And I always knew that was going to be my path. I just didn't know how. I think I was being very naive and thinking, I'm going to build wells, or, you know, that didn't really speak to me. It wasn't enough. When I came across this Japanese technology, it was like, wow. It didn't just open up the fact that it was an online business. The fact that it opened up awareness around our bodies, it brought me back to Allah and the idea that our bodies, our homes are amana. We take them for complete granted. You know, just to give you a basic idea, when somebody says, I can eat anything, I can eat pizza, I can eat hamburger, I can eat anything. It's like, no. Why are you treating your body that way? You're not better than me because you can consume essentially junk and not be affected by it. That's just one thing that used to bother me. The fact that we basically abuse ourselves in a way. We treat our bodies as filters. And this opened up more than just an online business. It opened up an ability to be more self-aware, the self-healing, the impact of how we can connect more to Allah in the way that we treat ourselves in our homes, our community. So it spoke to me on so many levels.
No, that's really interesting. So for the audience or for the listeners, talk a little bit about what this technology does. How did you find it?
Okay.
Maybe give a little bit of description about the product so that they're aware. And I would love to kind of learn from that as well.
Sure. So I went to a chiropractor. I wanted to get adjusted. I wanted to improve my posture, be more mobile, maybe have less aches and pains. And they try to adjust me. And every time they try to do a bit of an adjustment on my spine, they're like, you're stiff. You're dehydrated. I cannot adjust you. You've come in 3, 4, 5 times. Rheem, you need to work on your hydration. And I was like, really? Is it that bad? And she's like, yes. So she introduced me to what's called, the company's Anagic. The water's called Kengen. Kengen in Japanese means return to origin, so return to the source. And so I started drinking the water. First day, second day, my hands used to be very bloated, water retention, it just disappeared. By third, fourth day, I felt like I was detoxifying. Like my gut felt amazing. My brain started to be more alert. I had more energy. And then I was like, I need to have this at home. So what makes this water unique and what makes it Zamzam quality water, in all honesty, it has the same similar alkalinity as Zamzam. 2, it's restructured. The device restructures water so that it's highly absorbed into the body at a cellular level. Okay? So a lot of times people will complain, I feel bloated when I drink water. I don't like drinking water. It doesn't make me feel good. You won't find that because
but why is that? Is it because
it's bulky?
So it's like there's chemicals in there, or the filtration is not good, or what's
restructuring?
It's a restructuring. Yeah. So I'll give you an example. When we make tea, we can't. When you even make iced tea, you can't just take cold water, add the tea bag, and it's going to permeate. It won't. It won't seep. You have to heat up the water, which then restructures the water. It actually breaks down the molecular structure
Interesting.
into smaller molecules in order for it to seep through the tea bag. This water, you will not need to heat it up in order for it to literally make you a cup of tea instantly. So it restructures the water, alkalinity, and for me, what was really, it's anti-aging. It has 1 cup of this water is like eating 5 kilos worth of blueberries of antioxidant power. What you can compare that to is a cup of green tea gives you antioxidant power of minus 200. It's in megavolt. This one is up to 700, depending on where you are in the pressure of the device. So can you imagine you're drinking bottled water that's dead. There's a difference between living and dead.
What is the difference?
The difference is when you take water straight from the source, it's crashing against rock, it's flowing, there's an electric charge, there's a voltage. That's living. The moment you take it out of that source, so when people talk about spring water right from the source, beautiful. You put it in a bottle and you leave it in a warehouse for a year, it's dead. It has no value to you. It's literally leaching minerals and energy just to turn it into something of value when you drink it. Plus you have the microplastics on top of that, right? So for me, it was a no-brainer. I had to make sure my parents had it. My son, I told you the story about my son having it. And then it never dawned on me to be a business, to be honest with you. For me, it was just health. I felt like, okay, wow, I didn't realize that our bodies are made of 80% water. I didn't realize that, it's what we drink, not what we eat, that really is going to have an impact. When we think about energy, when we think about detoxification, removing of our toxins, and rejuvenation of cellular, no one thinks about it from a perspective of water. We think about it from supplements to infusions to, different. Yes, all that is nice, but water is essential.
Well, something that's interesting is that Japanese culture is very big into like teas and a lot of different
onsens, hot springs, healing.
Yeah. Also, they have, I think they have one of the highest like life expectancies
they do.
as well.
Yeah.
So you mentioned this is like a Japanese technology. Is this like a long, like it's been known for a long time?
Enagic has been in business
everyone?
50 years. 50 years.
Okay.
I've met people that have literally been raised on this water, right? So the family had the device. He's never drank anything else but that. So these are devices that literally you're going to pass this on to your children. When you maintain it, you will have it for life. It is the only medical grade technology in the world. So it's certified by the highest levels of ISO certifications in Japan. So you won't ever worry about metal toxicity. It's made with medical grade materials like titanium, platinum plates. And over 8,000 hospitals in Japan use it.
So like, let's say like it's very interesting, like and fascinating. So I think like if I'm an average, like let's say I'm an average American citizen, right? Like how do I engage with your product? Like what's the kind of model that you have set up? What does the product do? How do I like purchase this device?
So in purchasing the device, it made me a distributor, right? So there are many of us, but essentially what you would do, you would reach out to me through Instagram, LinkedIn. I have that information. We would figure out what type of device you would need. We would communicate via WhatsApp. It's very simple. I would get your information, bank details, send that to the office. We have like 27 offices, probably 7 or 8 here in the United States, 1 here in Texas, to be honest, in Garland. They would ship it to your home. I would send you a video, help you like online to set it up because it's a plug and play kind of device. And essentially that would be it.
Is there like, do you have to like buy filters or is there anything like that? So
this device is an ionizer. So it does have a filter inside it. It's a basic filter to get rid of like contaminants, chlorine, that kind of thing. If the water is hard, if the water is extra dirty, there is a organization, ewg.org, where you can find out the quality of your water. But you could get a simple pre-filter. It's not complicated. And and yeah, you just set it up, whether it's in your kitchen. You experience it in my son's bathroom. I think it's just because the home you guys
Yeah,
were
it
in,
was the only option.
the faucet wasn't the most ideal situation.
There's a way, there's a will, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So like Texas tap water is
Yeah,
not
yeah,
the
yeah.
best tap water, or it's not good. Like you shouldn't just drink Texas tap water.
Is that common? You don't?
Yeah,
drink
it's not like Michigan or New York,
Or
right?
New York, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I still
okay.
drink it, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
No, I would definitely get a pre-filter.
Yeah,
it's,
for
It's
sure.
it's not expensive. In terms of like maintenance, you would change the filter probably once a year.
Oh, right.
Okay, depending on usage, and I do a deep clean because again, I want this device to last 50 years. So I do it. What happens is that through the electrolysis process, the minerals may build up on the plates.
Oh, yeah.
So you guys are blessed here in Dallas. You have a place where you can just bring the device in. They'll clean it, within a day or two. Yeah, it's really a very simple, easy device, and I've taken it everywhere in the world with me.
So you travel with it.
It's 5 kilos. I can put it in my backpack.
What's that in pounds? Like 10 pounds?
10 pounds.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, 10
Yeah.
pounds. And I've taken it to Morocco. I've taken it to Egypt. I've taken it to London.
So it's here.
No, I didn't bring because mine I left it in Dubai because my parents own one, so I didn't think the need to bring it all the way here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I went to the Garland office and I got a bag of water. So I filled up.
Wow.
And to be honest, the community is such a collective, beautiful group of people. I was in Chile 2 weeks ago, went on Instagram and I just wrote Kangen, Chile, found a distributor, gave him a buzz. He said, "Come over, fill up."
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
And in the process, he took me around Santiago. So it was amazing. We had a great lunch. We talked about the business. We talked about the community, about our lives. It was fantastic. And so I've even tapped into a wonderful global community as well. And this business for me is one that I can literally take it anywhere in the world. I could be anywhere. Like I was in Chicago and somebody in Dubai reached out to me wanting the device, made the connection, in a matter of 24, 48 hours, they had the device in their home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So alhamdulillah, the barakah and I don't know how many calls I'll get. I had a woman, the grandmother was anti-water, didn't think anything of it. And she gave me a call and she's like, my mother-in-law has had constipation for 10 years. She has suffered for 10 years. And since drinking the water, it's gone. Things are just flowing.
Yeah.
So no, there's a lot of stories like that. Cristiano Ronaldo, you guys were asking
Yeah.
about. So Bill Gates has 16 of them
16?
in different homes and offices. No, it's
Of this particular brand?
this particular brand,
wow.
this
Wow.
particular brand. And it's not just this. I mean, we have clean air. We have a device that ionizes clean air. We have a device that literally blocks all this radiation that we're literally exposed to right here.
Yeah.
Literally blocks that. Actually, right now you're having a radiation-free experience. I have it in my bag.
Oh.
That's why everything's been flowing.
Yeah,
so-
that's what the mice went off.
I don't think so. And so many other products.
Yeah.
Right? So no, it's an amazing experience to be able to help people to open people's minds to the idea that you actually have control of your health, self-healing. You do not have to be dependent on pharmaceuticals. So hopefully we'll see. I mean, I'd love to have a device at every masjid.
Inshallah.
Ya Rab, so that people can come. Just to give you, the vision, Ahmed and I, we were in Taiwan, right? And then we went to Vietnam. And the water that I had in Taiwan had finished. And I was like, oh, God, I hope I can find somebody in Vietnam. And Ahmed's like, yeah, hey, we'll just drink regular water. What's the big deal? And I was like, no, you'll see the level of energy changes. Ahmed, no, I'm not going back to that. I can't go back to that. Anyways, we walk right outside of the boundaries of the hotel, the resort we were staying at. And I look to my right, and Ahmed goes, no way. It was a hole in the wall kind of like cafe. And a man had a device and a whole setup to educate his community. And that for me was like, oh my goodness. Barakah. Allah just wanted to make sure. But for me, it was twofold. The fact that I was able to have my water, in Vietnam. But more importantly, the idea that this man bought this device, not just for his own personal health, but to also educate the people around. So I said, I have to have this in every masjid, because there's so many people that don't know how to help themselves, and being able to just have quality water and maybe heal from things, if anything, prevent things from happening, would be an amazing sadaqah jariyah at the end of the day. So,
well,
inshallah khair.
Inshallah, I mean, Allah make it easy in your journey as you kind of, spread this resource for everyone. And I think it's monumental. I mean, I think dehydration, oftentimes I tell people, by the time you're thirsty, you're already way too late, right? You want to be drinking water before you even get there. And
Exactly.
so, as I say this, I'm quite quenched. And so, yeah.
Have a sip.
Well, thank you so much for joining the podcast and telling your story, right? Because I think it's a really important lesson of that oftentimes the world will put you in certain positions and then you feel like you have to mold yourself into it. But in reality is that you can be the mold that you want to be, right? And that you can feel empowered in doing it, and while still being, unapologetically yourself. And through that, speaking on your health, right? It's never too late to be conscious of your health, right? I think a lot of the older generations, and that I'm talking like people 30 and above, they think, oh, I'm always been this way, so it's going to be this way. That's not the case, right? You can be 50, you can be 70, it doesn't matter. When you want to change, you can do it. It's just the willingness to do it.
100%.
So, and you've exemplified that in your life in many, many ways. And I think it's been a really beneficial conversation. So thank you so much for joining the podcast.
I loved it. This was so much fun. I want to do it again. I got so much more to say.
Yeah.
No, thank you guys. Allah barak fikum. You guys are doing insightful, delightful. MashaAllah. I wish you guys all the best. This has been an amazing experience.
Thank you. Thank you so much.